A Super Saiyan transformation is retconned into the story by Frieza. There is technically a mention of a Super Saiyan by Nappa. That's a passing adjective used to describe the hybrid of a human and a Saiyan.
Talking about it again today made me realize that, yeah, I 100% agree. This is definitely a retcon. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be discussing something that is going to be a bit controversial, but I think will actually be fun and actually justify and sometimes hurt the series. Dragon Ball retcons. They obviously exist. There's some fans that just refuse to act like they exist. They do. Nothing is perfect in this world, and neither is Dragon Ball. However, in this video, I'm going to be discussing every retcon that's discovered in this video. If anything's left out, I'll try my best to bring it up. But most importantly, if I think that it was a good retcon or a bad retcon, because fun fact, yeah, some of them shits were necessary.
Dragon Ball loves retcons. From Goku's sudden unveiling as an alien all the way to Daima changing up how the Pataras work for the third time, retcons are a topic the series.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Thank you, Mark. Because I saw in the comments I got killed for acting like they didn't retcon it again. They did. However, it's nothing that was over the top. It's nothing that like couldn't be pieced together, you know? I think that's what like a lot of Dragon Ball fans get all,
No, it's not a retcon.
These things can be retconned. These things can be clearly shifts in terms of how the story is being portrayed or even told, but while still being somewhat connected to the past. That's what makes it a good retcon, which some of you all think a retcon is essentially if Vegeta was an Earthling. Like, no, that's not what a fucking retcon is, gang. But Goku being a monkey boy and then it turns out he's a Saiyan is a retcon. I think that's the difference, because Goku being a Saiyan can actually be pieced together and make sense. Vegeta being an Earthling all along makes zero sense. A retcon isn't just some author realized he fucked up button and just wrote some bullshit. No, a retcon is something that actually should be connected to the past. It's just either A, little wonky, or B, is like a different direction. It's a little quick little audible, quick little pivot.
Has not been able to escape lately.
In fact, fuck this. Before I have to even deal with you niggas defining it, let's see what Google says. In film or TV series, a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events, typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency. There you go.
What if I told you that retcons have always been a part of Dragon Ball, since the very beginning? In fact, what if I told you that something as simple and well understood as sensu beans healing people was in fact a retcon too? Toriyama's fast and loose
I can see it.
To a whole boatload of those sorts of changes, many of which people don't even realize were changes to begin with. So today I am going to dive deep in to find out not only exactly how many retcons the series has experienced over its 40 years, but also answer perhaps a far more important question. Are retcons even bad?
Thank you.
He's
I fuck with Mark. Yeah, he gets to like, thank you, because that's what my whole point is. I didn't think he would do this. My whole point is of that yap fest in the intro is that not every retcon is bad. Hell, some are just straight up necessary to clean your story up.
Talking strictly mainline from Chapter 1 of Dragon Ball through to Super and its subsequent films. But before I scrutinize that endless sea of content, it's important that we first define what a retcon even is, because boy does it have a bad reputation today.
Yeah.
A retcon, or retroactive continuity, is defined by the Oxford Dictionary as a piece of new information within a fictional work that imposes...
Oh my God, I just did this. Oh my, yo, Mark Twin. Totally not twin. What's going on, gang? See, you gotta sometimes, chat, when you do this YouTube shit and know this is not a streamer about to talk about how life is so hard. The 9 to 5 conversation, stupid, by the way. Gang, sometimes when you're making these videos, you gotta dot your I's and cross your T's. And this is one of those examples. If Mark knew he had to do this and I did this, not even a minute into the reaction, yeah, you niggas were gonna be insufferable if this didn't happen.
Typically used to facilitate a dramatic...
Oh my God, that's funny.
...or an inconsistency. And that is the definition of a retcon. Not that evil, right? It's simply a new piece of info that reshapes our understanding of past events. Retroactive continuity. That's all. And so while a retcon can cause something negative like a plot hole, by itself it is neither good nor bad. It's simply a narrative technique that can stand to create drama if used thoughtfully, or frustration and confusion if handled poorly.
Correct.
So with all of us now on the same page, let's start where it all began. Now, hilariously, one of the first issues I ran into with this whole self-imposed retcon challenge was how I ought to identify what was a genuine retcon and what was simply a reveal. Now, to some of you, these two might appear to be the same given Toriyama is known for making up the story as he went along, but I assure you there's a difference, and it all relies on the external context of the scene in question. For instance, the reveal of Goku's great ape form was amazing, and the shedding of light on his grandpa's premature demise comes about during the climax of that first arc.
Right.
Some might consider this unveiling of Goku's great ape form a retcon
I
in
don't.
the same way the unveiling of Goku's Saiyan heritage was at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z.
I don't. I think those are two entirely different things. Goku being a monkey boy who can actually unironically transform into a big ass monkey is entirely different of why he is a monkey boy, or hey, the monkey boy species is actually referred to as Saiyans and you're not even from here.
Both are reveals, however, only one is a retcon. The knowledge that Goku possesses the ability to transform into an ape and consequently killed his grandpa is simply a reveal.
Thank you.
In the same instance, he utters the
Cook.
truth that a monster who only appears during a full moon killed his grandpa. He's already explained that he wasn't allowed to look at the full moon.
Yep.
When the reveal comes around later, it's just confirming something that was earlier set up. So that makes it not a retcon, but a reveal that even characters within the world around him understood at the time. Now, on the other hand, the great ape transformation being something inherent to Saiyans is a retcon. The aspect of Goku's Saiyan reveal that makes it a retcon comes about when we learn Goku and all Saiyans can become apes. By introducing this exposition,
Yep, I agree.
Toriyama retroactively altered the
I agree.
audience's
He's cooking.
interpretation of the event,
He's cooking, chat.
changing our understanding
He's cooking.
from this is something inherent to Goku to this is something special about
Yep.
Goku's race as a whole.
Yep,
And
he's
if I
cooked.
wanted to grant even more credence to this assertion, Toriyama has said in interviews that he always saw the great ape transformation as being akin to a werewolf rather than something alien. But yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying that the great ape reveal wasn't a retcon, but don't worry because there are plenty more actual retcons to come. And trust me, these retcons show up sooner and far more frequently than even I anticipated.
Let's go.
Retcon number 1. The first retcon of the series might actually be as early as chapter 12 when Chi-Chi grabs Goku by the tail.
The tail
By this
shit?
point, Goku's been in plenty of battles and we've learned a lot about him and his tail already. It's even come up in conversation a bunch. But here Chi-Chi suddenly exposes that his tail is his weakness. This of course facilitates the resolution of the first arc's climax, but also changes what we thought we knew about his tail. Retcon number 2.
Okay.
In chapter 1, Bulma confirms that she doesn't know how the balls got separated exactly, but implies that they likely got misplaced over time. This is then retconned in chapter 20. Once the balls scatter magically, Bulma's explanation implies that she both knew this would happen and retcon number 3, that a
Oh shit.
1-year cooldown would be placed on the Dragon Balls suddenly, turning them to
Yeah. Sorry if I'm a little quiet this video, but like I agree. I don't know what I was supposed to say right there. Like L reactor moment there, but like, yeah, this is just objectively like a thing. Like Bulma goes from like, I don't know how these little shits work. I want a boyfriend. And then like once they gather the Dragon Balls, once they make the wish for the panties, and once everything goes away, yeah, Bulma's just like a Dragon Ball expert now. It's just like, what the fuck? I thought we were all learning this together.
stone. But there is no way someone like Bulma would know this given that no one has made a wish on the balls in centuries. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, number 4, the balls turning to stone is also a retcon. Wow, 3 retcons in 1 chapter. Will this record be topped? Stay tuned. And this retcon impacts the Dragon Radar. Toriyama was hell-bent on avoiding another Dragon Ball search no matter what, and so he turned them to stone, making them not only unusable, but also
Untrackable.
undetectable, apparently. These are clunky retcons, of course, but given the direction the series ended up pivoting to, it was so worth it. Number 5.
Absolutely.
In the interest of not only picking on Shenlong for the entire video, let's talk about Goku's power pole, or Nyoibo, for a second.
Talk to me.
Introduced in Chapter 1 as a mysterious magical staff handed down to him by his grandpa, with the power to extend apparently, it is eventually retconned at the end of the King Piccolo arc in Chapter 162, with its true purpose retconned to be a connection between Karin's tower and the lookout itself.
Yeah, that's a layup line. So I'm gonna go through the 5, by the way, because I'm lacking there. So that's a layup line. This is a retcon, doesn't really matter. I don't think this really pisses anybody off. The Bulma retcon group, where she essentially like knows a fuck ton about the Dragon Balls. It, again, I wouldn't say good or bad, it's just harmless. I guess the only thing he could have improved upon is perhaps showcasing us that Bulma is truly learning more versus like all of us just knowing that Bulma's smart as hell and probably will learn about these things. But like even then, the idea that she knew, oh yeah, this shit's gonna turn to stone, I'm not gonna be able to track it with the radar, all this other stuff. Yeah, but it was worth worth it, because my God, if that was not the case, right? If Toriyama did not write that to be the case, can you imagine? People already talk about how Dragon Ball doesn't have any stakes in regards to death. Can you imagine how it would be if Dragon Ball was an anime where people are flying across the world at light supersonic, whatever the fuck, supersonic, whatever the fuck speed you want, and they're able to just capture the Dragon Balls every second of every day like that? Come on, bro. So yeah, so far, all of these are pretty harmless, if not straight up good for the series.
Retroactively changes its importance, of course, but it also makes it funnier that Roshi used it as a clothesline for what I can only assume was decades. Good retcon and great gag material.
Yep.
Retcon number 6. Back to the Dragon Radar from chapter 1 through to 69, I guess. The radar is shown to have a tremendous range, but becomes more limited in use up close. I mean, this is pretty much why they had to explore in the first place. However, in chapter 75, while Bulma is running around a Red Ribbon Army base, the radar suddenly possesses the ability to locate the exact position of the Dragon Ball, and even shows the directions to it through the different man-made hallways.
True, I didn't peep that.
Of the radar before. We've even seen her use paper maps plenty. This is, I think, the first bad retcon on my list, but largely inoffensive. Retcon number 7.
Yeah, I agree, and
that's
true.
Of the manga, after Goku scales Karin's tower, the sensu beans were initially described as being able to keep someone full for 10 days.
Yep.
However, in chapter 150, that is retconned into healing Goku's entire battered body. Part of me believes that this change emerged in early Dragon Ball because Goku's strength was largely linked to how hungry he was in early Dragon Ball, and so
that's very true. Goku is like fucking Luffy low-key. Like Goku literally, if he ate, would pub stomp the same guy that beat the shit out of him when he's starving. So it was kind of slick, but also it was never like implied that the sensu beans couldn't heal you, and that's kind of where I'm getting at, where no, this isn't a gotcha, Tori. Last time I'm making this point, but I really want to get this across. Goku was a fighter that like needed to be at 100% strength, 100% stamina, aka food, to fight optimally. I think that's easy to connect, nigga. If you go to the gym, you try to bench 10, whatever your highest possible weight is while you're starving versus while you're fully, you know what I'm saying, dieted up, whatever, pause if needed, then you're gonna be able to perform better. The sensu beans never weren't stated to also heal your injuries. Furthermore, Zenkai Boost, which is another retcon, wasn't what they were also never even like, you know, thought of. So the sensu beans being a low-key healing factor all along, that kind of even makes sense, if anything. Like, oh, it's not just giving you energy via appetite. It's genuinely doing something to your body to help you heal. And with Goku being a fucking Saiyan, that healing process makes you stronger.
And Goku's body started to rely more on chi and less on food.
Hope I explained that right.
Senzu beans too made that retroactive switch to retain their function. It's clunky, but it's a reasonable retcon in my view. Retcon number 8. In chapter 2, Goku tells Bulma that he's 14 years of age.
Oh yeah, this was, this is an easy one.
He defeats Girin, not to be confused with the more boring one. In this, his age is changed to...
Don't lose your light now. Y'all niggas will sit there and talk about the Tournament of Power having peak moments. Half of them shits contain Jiren. You say, oh, but Jiren's boring. That doesn't make sense, man. I'm not gonna lie. At some point, when to say when. Damn, I get it. His backstory pretty lackluster. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like when Dragon Ball fans try to lie like his backstory was good. It's pretty shit. But Jiren literally will sit there, have the coolest moments in the series, coolest off screens. He even has some goddamn good dialogue when you try to acknowledge the fact that he talks, and y'all just be like, he's kind of boring though. Nah, I'm not letting y'all do that shit, Mo. I'm not letting y'all do the dun-na-na-na-na-dun-na-na-na-na, and then the person he's fighting, oh, he sucks. Nah, I'm not going for that shit. I'm not going for it.
12, possibly because the manga was proving successful at the time and they wanted to keep him in the age range for the target audience. This is neither good or a bad retcon.
It just is a thing.
Number 9, also retcon during the early tournament, is the announcer's duties specifically. In the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, he's strictly an announcer, all the while the head priest was tasked with making the actual rule calls during matches. However, in subsequent world tournaments, the announcer takes over that role. Number 10.
He just became more iconic. That's not a retcon. He just became that damn good at his job. He got a promotion. That's it. We moving on. That's the first miss, Mark. Sorry.
Kintibun is introduced as a magical gift from Roshi, and in Chapter 14, he claims to have gotten it straight from Kami-sama himself. While it is confirmed that Roshi did make it to the top of Karin Tower, and that is in keeping with his character's legendary history, he specifically did not make it to the lookout to see Kami-sama, and so never received Kintibun from him. Number 11. In the Piccolo Arc, Kintibun is destroyed, or killed, however you want to look at it, by Tambourine. However, later, Karin reveals that what Goku was riding was only a fragment of a much larger magical
Now
cloud.
that is a right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said in his voice, that one, Dragon Ball fans,
It's a little shaky.
just a little bit. That's why he laughed. I know that's why he laughed. Look, I love Nimbus. When Nimbus got destroyed, I thought it was, oh, okay, this nigga's gonna learn how to fly time or something like that, or he's just gonna move that fucking fast, and that's gonna be a problem. Like, I was thinking, like, literally, okay, so now Demon King Piccolo's gonna catch a lot of bodies because Goku's across the fucking map, but Goku's gonna, like, run as fast as he possibly can across the fucking map. I thought that was where the story was gonna go, and it's just like, nah. Nimbus has like 5 cousins. Like, it's like, all right, I guess. Like, nobody even mentioned this. Nobody mentions how, yeah, there's like a fat ass Nimbus cloud. You're just running like a fragment of Nimbus. You would think that's what they would say to Goku if he has this little ass cloud that he's riding on. Roshi knows who it is. He's like, oh yeah, you got a piece of the Nimbus? That's cool. Not you have the flying Nimbus. It's not the most harmful to the show. Like, who cares, right? But it is a little shaky.
12. This also retcons Kintibun's supposed death entirely. Number 13.
Oh, yeah.
Continuing my picking on Kintibun, in Chapter 162, it is said that it cannot fly any higher than Karin Tower, retroactively limiting its flight capacity. Number 14. In Chapter 97, Bulma places another restriction on the Dragon Radar, citing that if a Dragon Ball were to be, I don't know, swallowed, the biological matter surrounding the ball would prevent the radio waves emitting from being picked up, which, let's be honest, doesn't make a lot of sense. And number 15.
It's that's a tricky one too. The one before this, by the way, I didn't respond because you could argue he's making a reach, but I wouldn't necessarily, like, I don't care. Like, if he's making the technically, well, actually retcons, I'm not gonna really like care. But like that one, I can see both sides. I can see someone saying, nah, that kind of makes sense. Dragon Balls have unique energy. Maybe just that little human shit cuts it off. But then it's like, does it? Yeah, I probably agree with Mark more than I don't, now that I'm talking.
The fact that she described the waves the Dragon Balls emit as radio waves is also a retcon. In Chapter 1, she refers to the waves as electromagnetic, which
Okay,
according to Google,
cooked.
are similar but distinctly different. Number 6.
Get cooked.
Okay, Mark. Okay, Mark. I see you, Mark. Okay. I ain't gonna lie, that's a retcon. That is by all accounts a retcon.
In Chapter 92, after Goku kicks his grenade back into his face, Tao Pai Pai is shown to have, well, exploded. We see the explosion, and as the cloud fades, his body seems to have been reduced to dust.
And then he just exists. Retweet, liked, and followed. Yeah, I didn't like Tao's return. I didn't like it. I fuck with the imagery of it. I would have liked someone, a Tao descendant or something like that. You already had Piccolo Jr. around, right? You had Piccolo Jr. in the tuck, I'm sorry. So I would have been perfectly fine with that. Nah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
However, in Chapter 160...
Oh, no, not Piccolo Jr. Yeah, it was Piccolo Jr. Yeah, you already had Piccolo Jr. in the tuck. Sorry about that. I misspoke. You already had Piccolo Jr. in the tuck and things like that. I'm not saying Tao Pai Pai the third should have like arose, but definitely someone from the school, maybe a student, maybe like a friend of Tien's who's like really pissed off. Like, how could you betray us type shit? There are several other things to do than cyborg Tao Pai Pai, but I get the point was to illustrate how far Tien's evolved as a warrior, but even then, you didn't really think of Tao as too much of a threat anymore. Goku as a tot kicked his ass.
7, Cyborg Tao is revealed. Yay! Retroactively negating his death. Number 17. This one is weird, but hang in with me. In Chapter 1, Goku says to Bulma that he's, quote, never
saw a
human
before.
However, in
he
that
has a
same
grandfather.
chapter, and even that same page, really, he confirms that he lived in this small house with his grandpa.
Yeah, that's
Gohan.
GG's,
We're
yeah.
given reason to believe that he's human throughout the arc, but there's also plenty of evidence of other sentient life in this story too. We're also never shown confirmation of what he in fact looks like, so when Chapter 105 through to his eventual reveal in Chapter 108 arises, it is confirmed that he is in fact human, and that what Goku said in Chapter 1 was incorrect. Hilariously, Toriyama even admits that this was a mistake when answering fan questions at the end of Volume 2. Technically, this is...
Oh man, I miss Tori, bro. You know what's funny about Toriyama? Toriyama will forget shit. A lot of the fans, and rightfully so, because I mean we love the show, will try to like be like, no. And Toriyama would just be like, no, I forgot. I ain't gonna lie. Like a fan would literally be like, yo, where's Launch? Why is Launch not in the story? Oh shit, Launch is in the story. Like that's how it is, man. Sometimes, look, nothing is perfect, chat. This is fine. This isn't a why I hate Dragon Ball video. Editors, don't title this why I hate Dragon Ball or every reason I hate Dragon Ball. Nobody hates the series. At the end of the day, this is just something that happens.
Is a retcon, albeit an unintentional one.
Yeah, it's literally an accident.
107, the Pilaf gang produces a special Dragon Ball container that can prevent the Dragon Radar from locating it. I guess it's made of that biological material. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Dragon Radar from 7. The Pilaf gang produces a special Dragon Ball container that can prevent the Dragon Radar from locating it. I guess it's made of that biological
I wouldn't call that a retcon at that point, but yeah, I wouldn't call that a retcon at that point. Maybe they just have the knowledge of it too. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a retcon. Maybe it is, but I wouldn't call it that.
Number 19. In chapter 97, Roshi describes Baba as an all-seeing crony that has the power to divine the location of any lost object. However, that is later retconned to also include seeing the future. Number 20. In chapter 150, the Ultra Divine Water is introduced as a secret second type of water Karin Tower offers, apparently. A retcon that Toriyama added as a means of...
By the way, the last two you could argue are reveals. I don't know if I'm going to call them retcons. Those two might follow in the line of like a reveal, but who cares about those two? So like those two are like one ear out the other ass things. Like, oh, really? Oh my God.
Type of water.
Fuck you, Mark.
A retcon that Toriyama added as a means of increasing Goku's strength to defeat Demon King Piccolo in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Thanks. I hate it. Number 21.
Let me go back one more time and hear how he explained it. Hold on.
Includes seeing the future. Number 20.
Because I didn't like... Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Ultra Divine shit either. You could, I guess, view it as either A, and I'm having a hard time remembering, but you could either view it as A, it was the training all along rather than the water, ooh, or B, and what I think is like low-key what's going on is the Ultra Divine Water almost kills you. Goku didn't die. He's a Saiyan, therefore Zenkai boost, GG's to Demon King Piccolo. I'm not a fan of it either. I'll admit that. But they had to do something because Demon King Piccolo was kind of stomping. But I would have rather, you've already had a tragic arc, you might as well just make Goku like train a fuck ton harder and kind of make it feel a bit more earned. Plus he's already angry. He's already pissed the fuck off. So we can already get behind Goku being stronger. Just, it was an unconventional way. Obviously they don't go to this too many times. They do a couple more, but they don't go to the random power-up gimmick, but like a couple of times with the untapped potential shit.
Number 21. Let's pick on Shenlong some more. In chapter 111, summoning Shenlong is shown to turn day into night. This had never been established before and was likely introduced so that when villains would use the Dragon Balls in the future, Goku and those around him would be clued into what's going on. Number 22. And speaking of King Piccolo, he can clone himself apparently, as an egg after Goku defeats him, which subsequently births Little Piccolo, or Piccolo Jr. as he's later called.
Yeah, see, I don't know if that's a retcon because it's like Piccolo Jr., but he gave himself the memories. I guess, yeah, cloned himself. We knew he could birth people, but I guess, but he calls him his son. That was shaky. Like, do you view him as like a clone? Is he a clone? Is he a clone? Demon King Piccolo is Piccolo Jr. or just his father? In Dragon Ball, Demon King Piccolo is Piccolo Jr.'s father. Are Demon King Piccolo and Piccolo the same person? Piccolo Dama is stated to be Piccolo Jr.'s father. That's what I thought, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say he cloned himself. I wouldn't say he cloned himself. I would say that, yeah, I would say that he was able to share the memories, but yeah, I wouldn't say he cloned himself. And Demon King Piccolo was stated to always, not even stated, we've seen him give birth to children on the fly. The only question is how he did it with a fucking hole in his chest. But I mean, outside of that, yeah, I don't really have too much issue with that.
arc concludes, however, it's revealed that not only did the Dragon Balls have a creator in Kami, which in and of itself is a significant retcon.
Yeah, that's a layup.
Also, number 24, this creator too is God, and more than that, number 25 is one half of the greatest villain this story had seen up until this point.
Yeah, that's, by the way, he hasn't missed yet. All of this is a retcon. Like, oh my God, if this isn't a retcon, why did you click this video? This is literally a retcon.
Number 26, Kami possesses the ability to circumvent the 1-year mandatory cooldown of the Dragon Balls, which, as I said at the very beginning, was also a retconned rule, so this is a retcon of a retcon? Funny how it also is
ain't gonna
similar
stop
to what Neba did in the first episode of Dragon Ball Daima. I never noticed that until now. Number 27, rewinding the clock a smidgen, in chapter 120 during the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, Tao Pai Pai is revealed to be Tsuru Senin's younger brother, which, given the age disparity and the fact that Tsuru Senin is over 300 years of age, I feel like this couldn't have been planned exactly. Number 28, in chapter 165, Kami says, no god is given the power to destroy himself, end quote. However, in chapter 194, he tries to kill Piccolo and therefore himself. Number 29.
He's cooking now. I'm not gonna lie. He had that one miss to me, but now he's like he's cooking.
Cannot restore him, which is another retroactive limiter on the Dragon Balls themselves. Number 30. From chapters 185 through to 194, characters like Krillin, Goku, Piccolo, and even Kami suggest and state that using the Dragon Balls to revive Kami after Goku kills Piccolo is a viable option. However, in chapter 194, Goku tells Kami that he's lying and that if he were to die, so too would the Dragon Balls disappear. I mean, he says this despite agreeing with Krillin's plan and acting on his suggestion in the prior circumstance. This is just...
Who, Goku says this and acting... Yeah, this is another one where we're tiptoeing the line of what is a reveal versus what is a retcon. Because I could see this, and I'm not trying to do a Glorious King Glaze shit. I'm being dead ass. I could see this as Goku just being very smart, Kami just all along lying and misleading the fighters, more than I could see is something has changed in the story to retcon it. You know, comment below. How do you feel? Comment below whatever this timestamp is, or retcon number 30. How do you feel about this? This one, I could see it. I can see it, especially considering that Goku was like, oh, okay, bet, cool. But then all along, Goku can easily, and this is just real life, you can think something and then in the moment be like, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. So I'm on the side of, if I had to choose, that this isn't a retcon, but I could see how it is, so I'm not mad he included it. It's definitely worth talking about.
I'm retroactively adding this restriction to the Dragon Balls. And now, onwards and upwards to Dragon Ball Z.
Here we go.
Chapter 1 of DBZ, reveals that Goku's real name is
Kakarot.
Number 32. He also reveals
Saiyan.
that his original mission was to kill all the inhabitants of planet Earth. Number 33. The third and final retcon of this chapter is the reveal that Goku belongs to a race of aliens called Saiyans.
Easy.
Number 34. In Chapter 2 of Dragon Ball Z, Goku is revealed to have an older brother.
Raditz, yep.
Also in this chapter, Goku's
Raditz alone is like, I know he's stat padding, but Raditz alone is probably like the biggest retcon in Dragon Ball history. So he's going by every single one. But honestly, Dragon Ball Z, you could just argue Raditz is the retcon and why there is a new series, because holy shit.
And Roshi's exposition explains that Goku suffered memory loss or brain damage as a baby after Gohan found him, thus forgetting his mission. Number 36. Prior to fighting Raditz in the early chapters of Dragon Ball Z, Goku explains another restriction on the Dragon Balls themselves, that they cannot grant the same wish more than once. Really getting far from that any wish you want kind of
I'm about to say, that
arc of the series.
That I knew existed, but I just caught on to that. Like, and that's why it's good sometimes. Sometimes the obvious shit just goes over your head. That's kind of crazy.
Number 37.
That's kind of crazy.
The retroactive inclusion of the otherworld hierarchy, I guess. We once thought that Kami was the top. Now he's simply an intermediary between the mortal world and this new thing. Number 38. In chapter 162, Karin says that the souls of those killed by demons cannot ascend to the afterlife. However, in Dragon Ball Z chapter 11, it's revealed that Raditz did in fact make it to Enma's desk. Number 39. In chapter 18, Shenlong remarks that he cannot defeat the Saiyans by wish, as he cannot grant a wish that surpasses the power of a god. Add another limiter to the Dragon Balls, I guess. Number 40. In Dragon Ball Z chapter 20...
I didn't realize how many Shenron had. I knew he had a couple, but damn.
Number 41. Goku's internal desire for combat and competition is retroactively attributed to his Saiyan genetics.
Retweet.
Number 42. Oh, I actually forgot to mention that there's actually another limitation stacked on the Earth's Dragon Balls in that in order to bring someone back to life, they
can't
also need
die
to have
twice.
their bodies preserved. Number 43.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Shinkai states that the Namekians are a most peaceful race and so retroactively attributed.
But then, like, everyone gets their body preserved nowadays, right? Or at least all the characters that we know of.
Piccolo's demonic ways to the maliciousness of humans on Earth. Number 44. In Chapter 3, Raditz says that the Saiyan homeworld was destroyed by a meteor. However, this is later retconned and Frieza is given the blame in Chapter 63. Which brings me to number 45.
Yeah, this is a matter of if you want to go retcon versus reveal there. I would say that's probably a retcon. Yeah, I would say that's probably a retcon because that introduces the story, like that introduces a new concept to the story. So I would say that's probably a retcon there. Like the Demon King Piccolo one, I think that's more of a reveal or anything like that. Or even if Demon, I guess, and what was 30? Because I guess you could argue, and this is why I said they're arguable, because I guess you could argue that with Demon King Piccolo, had it been he already gave birth to Piccolo Jr. or like spat out the egg in case he died, then that's a reveal or anything like that. And maybe the Goku Kami one is also somewhat of a, yeah, these are all like, this is all very much a debate or whatever, and by the book probably are technically retcons, but I think they're definitely like revealish minus revealish plus level retcon. You know what I mean? Frieza blowing up Planet Vegeta all along probably is a retcon. Now I'm thinking about it, but it could also be easily seen as more so a reveal. The practicality that these planet busting ass Saiyans died to a fucking meteor was already a head scratcher. So
5. In Chapter 52, Frieza's name is mentioned for the very first time, and it is my belief that he too was perhaps a retcon. So let's review the evidence. The cause of Planet Vegeta's destruction was retroactively attributed to him. Originally it was a meteor. Vegeta refers to himself once as the strongest in the universe during his fight with Goku, and perhaps most convincingly, in Chapter 52, Kyuubi reveals to Vegeta that Frieza listened to their scouter to hear about the Dragon Balls and their power. But here's the thing, Vegeta and Nappa didn't talk about the Dragon Balls on Earth only. They did so a year earlier after Raditz was defeated. How? By hearing the information through their scouters.
Yeah.
Given all of what I just said, I think it's reasonable to assert that Frieza could have been a retcon at the very least. Number 46.
Oh,
In
that
Chapter
makes
63,
sense. I just got it. Yeah, that's true. Frieza himself, that's true. Because you would think, Frieza heard that, right? Hey.
We going to Earth.
Which, by the way, means everyone fucking dies. But, like, you know what I'm saying? So, okay. You've convinced me that, hey, I didn't think about it that way. That's fair. I never thought of it that way. That's very fair.
Every fight. The greater the fight, the greater the increase in strength, apparently. Number 47.
Maybe I'm
Also,
gaslighting myself in one way or the other, but I think for the most part, that's a good
prince
point.
For the first time. In the original manga, during the Saiyan arc, Vegeta not once refers to himself as a prince. He describes himself as an elite warrior, with no connection to princehood. Number 48. In Chapter 63, Dodoria explains that Frieza's eradication of the Saiyans occurred due to a fear that they would unite against him. This is reinforced in Chapter 68 by Zarbon. It's even specifically said that, and I quote, "The strength of individual Saiyans is no match for Master Frieza," end quote. This is later retconned once Toriyama decided to introduce the legend of the Super Saiyan as Frieza's primary fear in Chapter 114. Number 49. The possibility of a legendary Super Saiyan transformation is retconned into the story in Dragon Ball Z Chapter 71 by Frieza. There is technically a mention of a Super Saiyan by Nappa en route to Earth, but that's a passing adjective used to describe the hybrid of a human and a Saiyan in Gohan. It doesn't bear any relation to the actual transformation that it eventually becomes attributed to. Number 50.
Yeah.
63,
My bad. I zoned out for a second. I'm sorry, I admit. But yeah, this is something that when we were starting our Z reading in the stream from a couple of days ago,
That you could have been a part of at TSO_Sage on Twitch.
even by this video is going to go out before that video, but like on that day, I saw this and I don't know if it's going to make the final cut or not, but I did yap for a little bit on this and I was like, wait, Did these niggas all along think that like that's how you get a Super Saiyan? That like a Saiyan has to fuse with a different species or whatever the fuck? Like the Super Saiyan was all along a different species, kind of like implying that Gohan's low-key the Super Saiyan and shit like that. And it's ironic that Gohan is then the character that has the Super Saiyan 2 moment. But I was trolling about it, but I never realized in that Japanese conversation that I low-key found a retcon in the series. It's like, wow, these niggas came from Earth, or these niggas heard about the shit on Earth, and it was like, damn, that one kid though, what the fuck? Like all along, I forgot that they did have a somewhat interest in Gohan. And I'm the same person that made a Vegeta video, and I talk about how Vegeta always has had like a special interest, not like that, in Gohan. And I think their relationship is somewhat underrated at times. So I was like, So for me, I was just shocked that I didn't even remember this for that video, and talking about it again today made me realize that yeah, I 100% agree. This is definitely a retcon.
Describe the hybrid of a human and a Saiyan in Gohan. It doesn't bear any relation to the actual transformation that it eventually becomes attributed to.
Yeah.
Number 50. In chapter 63, it was said that Saiyans increase in strength after every fight. However, in chapter 74, it is retconned to specifically refer to when a Saiyan recovers from the brink of death. Meaning that they do not need to fight in order to increase their strength. This is what allows Goku to dramatically increase his power using sensu beans en route to Namek, and it's how Vegeta was able to, you know, get a hole in his chest and strong against Frieza for, you know, their first round. Number 51. In chapter 135, it is shown that if a dragon chooses, it can combine a bunch of extra wishes to satisfy the conditions of the initial request. Isn't that nice? Number 52. Someone can refuse to be transported via a wish if they so chose. Number 53.
Yeah.
Vegeta and Bulma.
Yeah, that is like a flaming what the fuck. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually one that I don't like. Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that Goku was able to refuse it. If anything, and this would have been controversial, but they kind of done it before, I'd rather them just say Goku's too strong. Like I can't do it against his will. He's too fucking strong. Versus just, oh yeah, Goku doesn't want to be here though. Plus ratio. It's kind of like, so you're telling me when the dragon summons somebody, he's like, yo, Goku,
we outside!
And Goku just like, nah, I'm tired, bro. Nah, I didn't like that. I know that's a nitpicky thing, but I didn't like that one.
Just kidding. That's not retroactive continuity. It's proactive continuity. I don't know. He's from the future. The actual retcon here comes from chapter 141 when Trunks mentions that the
Trunks being from the future isn't fucking retcons. I know. Like, oh wow, they can time turn. That's not a retcon.
Androids attacking his world are called androids 19 and 20. However, this is later changed to androids 17 and 18 when he returns to his timeline at the end of the arc.
Damn, get cooked.
The shift from 17 to 18 to Cell was also a retcon brought on by editorial suggestion. And apparently Kami had suspected something was up for the last 4 years too. Number 55.
Yeah, we kind of like, this is a metagame one. If he goes down this rabbit hole, yeah, we kind of like, it's a notorious story on how Cell and all his forms were retcons. Like literally, the editor was like, bruh, you're not about to have this fat ass clown be the enemy and the old man. So he's like, okay, you're right. Well, now they're just two teenagers. I mean, what are you trying to get across? And then he goes, and now a fucking cicada. And then the next nigga, oh, he's just ugly. So yeah, the antagonist of the Cell Saga / Android Saga, I call it the Cell Saga. I hate when people split it. I understand it's technical, but shut up. Yeah, the antagonist of the Cell Saga is one retcon. It's like the popular one.
Dragon Balls is introduced when Piccolo fuses with Kami, thus causing the Dragon Balls to turn to rocks. Number 56. In chapter 169, Cell reveals that even though Dr. Jerome's
I know
lab
Dende's
was
there, but
destroyed,
like I did
there
forget.
was more to it underneath that they never noticed. Number 57. In chapter 172, Goku reveals the Room of Spirit and Time and explains he's even trained in there for a month during his
well, we
childhood.
never see
Number
it.
58. In chapter 196, a restriction is placed on the Room of Spirit and Time. One can only stay in there a total of 2 days within your lifetime. Number 59. In chapter 195, Cell reveals that his Cell games will commence 9 days following his announcement on May 17th. However, this is impossible as, according to Trunks in chapter 141, the androids were to arrive on May 12th, thus making this actually impossible. Years later, when piecing together...
that ain't a retcon. That's, dare I say, just a plot hole. The android showed up some days later and shit. Yo, that for those extra 5 days, them niggas probably sitting at home like... Was he even from the future?
For Daizenshu 7, the date of the
trolling chat, trolling.
May 26th. Number 60. Cell's healing ability supposedly being derived from Piccolo's DNA. Piccolo can regenerate limbs and less intense stuff like that, but he absolutely cannot regenerate from being atomized.
How you know?
Actually, you know what? Come to think of it, number 61. Demon King Piccolo couldn't regenerate either. He had a damn hole in
Damn. Oh, shit. That's how he knows. I got cooked.
his stomach, and he didn't regenerate dick. Number 62. In chapter 204, Shenlong says...
The first one I was trolling, but what the hell?
Because, quote, their powers are too great and strange. My own powers cannot affect such creatures again.
Yeah, see, like, this is a retcon, but I would have appreciated that when you introduced Super Saiyan, because at that point, it's like, ooh, aura for Super Saiyans. But, like, now it's like, okay, buddy, I guess.
Their will, end quote. So I guess that's another limiting factor in addition to all the other ones on the
Any wish possible, by the way.
Vegeta agrees to participate in the World Tournament during the Buu Saga because Gohan signed up. However, he later claims that the only reason he entered was to fight Goku.
True.
Number 64. In Chapter 11, the Guide to Snake Way describes King Kai to Goku as someone that stands above all the gods in the universe. However, once Shin arrives, that order is retroactively changed. Number 65.
Who cares about Shin?
Majin Buu is said to have existed since time immemorial. However, Buu is later retconned into being a creation of Bibidi. Number 66. In Chapter 234, King Kai is retconned into being the North Kai, making him one of 4. Number 67.
Yeah,
in
that's
Chapter
fine. That's a retcon.
270, Piccolo claims that he can
By the way, these are
regenerate
harmless.
without issue as long as his head remains intact. However, Cell's regeneration against Goku suggested that such headless regeneration was possible using Piccolo's cells. Number 68. In Chapter 2...
So are you saying that Super Saiyan Goku at the Cell games should have been possible to beat Cell and he only lost because of fucking plot?
I hated that debate so much. It was crazy as hell. But yeah, Cell's regeneration is bullshit. I think we all understand. It's bullshit unless he were to say it's an enhanced version of it. But no, he just says thank you, Piccolo Cell, like it's fucking Hashirama cells in there. And it's boy, that is not Hashirama could do the shit that happens in Naruto. He can't do that shit.
5. Another rule is imposed on the dragonball.
Actually, kinda.
If only one of the 3 wishes...
Actually, let me take that back. They get carried away with Hashirama cells too. Yeah, they do. I had to think of it. I'm like, actually, it's about the same level. Hey, Hashirama's a goat, but some of them shits do get out of hand.
...made and the dragon is dismissed, then the recharge time is only 4 months. Meaning each wish is worth 4 months of recharge time. Number 69. In Chapter 280, it is revealed that the use of Super Saiyan 3 is a drain on the remaining time Goku has on Earth. However, when this mechanic was first introduced with Grandpa Gohan, there was no mention of energy output draining the remaining time. Number 70. In Chapter 183, once Goku and Gohan enter the Room of Spirit,
but that could have been
Goku
told
says
before. So yeah,
closes,
that's like what a retcon is. And sorry if my arguments for what they are not haven't been the most consistent.
I'm not a fucking professor.
But like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That, by all accounts, is a retcon because, yeah, we never knew it, but it's also something that, like, it's not a bad thing. It's not a plot hole. Hell, Baba and Grandpa Gohan could have had that conversation off screen, and it would have actually made a ton of sense. Hey, don't go all out. You're going to have less time with the kid type shit.
Everything outside.
Let alone is he just not a Super Saiyan 3.
In Chapter 295, Piccolo is able to communicate from the outside to Goten and Trunks on the inside.
Yeah,
Number
true.
71. In Chapter 196, Popo states that if the exit disappears, you are stuck in the Room of Spirit and Time forever.
Unless you
However,
scream
using
really
their power
loud.
And, well, voices, both Buu as well as Gotenks circumvent that claim. Number 72. At the end of Chapter 17, the Earth can be seen from space. You can see Australia, Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, as well as East Asia and the entire Indian Ocean.
Oh,
it is
God.
geographically accurate to Earth as it exists in the real world.
He about to max out.
In Chapter 319, you can clearly see
Pangea
Toriyama decided to draw his own version of Earth instead. And finally, number 73, one that I forgot to mention earlier, Dr. Gero is retroactively made the mastermind behind the androids in the Red Ribbon Army arc. Whew, okay.
Damn.
Now, that brings me to the end of the retcons that I'm fairly certain about. Now it's time for the ones that I am a little more or a lot more unsure of. So let's continue.
Oh, so you stamped all them shits. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I'm not certain of all of those, but hey, Mark letting his nuts hang. Here we go. Pause if needed.
Continue. Number 74. In chapter 264, Goku tells Vegeta that in order to avoid receiving damage that will awaken Majin Buu, he will be trying to end this fight quickly at full power. Also in chapter 275, he goes on to reinforce that very statement when he says that Vegeta was as strong as he was. However, later this is revealed to have been a bold-faced lie and that Goku is much, much stronger than that which he had continuously claimed to be.
Retcon. I wanted to say reveal, but he lied to other people. That kind of disqualifies the reveal for me, because it's like, why is he lying to everybody? Like I feel like for Goku in that moment, and shout out Karthu, I feel like Goku in that moment could have been on some shit. Well, when he's talking to Krillin, he's like, yeah, he's almost as strong as me. Still haven't gone all out, but man, Vegeta's insanely strong. Something along those lines, right? Because we don't get Goku monologues too much. So it would have been weird if he had a Vegeta monologue and he was like, but if I had done that transformation, right? He didn't need to go full-blown Naruto again and go, now if I had used that jutsu, which don't get me started how many times they do that. All right, but not on a tangent. But yeah, because he lies to everyone, I don't want to call it a reveal. I'll call it a retcon. If he had lied to just Vegeta and then not talked about it up there, like if Goku had stayed quiet when Krillin was talking about that shit, I'd have called it a reveal, because I was like, oh, that actually just, yeah, that works.
My guess is that by this point in the story, Toriyama was really flying by the seat of his pants, and I wouldn't be surprised if Super Saiyan 3 retconned this initial claim by Goku. Number 75. Initially, the Nyoibo, or the power pole, is the only way for anyone to try and make their way
so you can fucking fly.
If one used a rocket or propulsion device, it is said that they would be repelled away. However, during Dragon Ball Z Cell Saga, Bulma makes her way up there fine using a flying craft. There are excuses for this, however. Kami had died and Nyoibo had technically been connected all this time too. So there's deniability for sure, however, it is never specified specifically.
Nah, that's a miss. Nah, that's a miss. Nah, stand on it. I'd do it for you.
That's definitely a retcon.
In fact, that's just a bad one. Yeah, they should have like been 10 toes with that. They should have stayed 10 toes with that. That's a miss. Now, obviously, it's not the end all be all of the fucking story, but yeah, no, that's crazy. That's objectively crazy. I don't know how you didn't include that in your base 73. That's crazy.
Super Saiyan was an arduous achievement for Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, but Goten manages to achieve it like it's no big deal suddenly. I don't know whether to call this a retcon or not, but it certainly operates in a nebulous space for me at least. And finally,
I would. S-Cells is a retcon. Yeah, I know what S-Cells are before that Will Actually guy tries to cook me. Yeah, I would say S-Cells is a retcon. The Saiyan power awakened from rage or pure emotion or whatever. Fine. You could argue the way that you awaken Super Saiyan was already getting retcon to hell, let alone Universe 6 Saiyans, I'm assuming, coming up. However, my brothers, come on, dog. When Goten and Trunks did it, was it cool? Was it funny? Was it, oh, wow, eye-poppy? Is that the reason why there's Goten fans in 2024 out there? All 6 of them? Sure. But, gang, look on your screen. It's definitely not just a random reveal. You know, it was like a, huh? What the fuck? It's a retcon. It is 100%. Whether it's bad or good, that's up to you, but it is a retcon.
77. In chapter 307, Old Kai says that the Patara earrings.
What the hell? You're uncertain about the yes, the Patara. Yes, at least one variant of the Patara shits are retcon. If you think the one in Delilah is fine. You're not gonna tell me that the permanent fusion, but then all along it was Boo's magic, but then all along it was your power. You just weren't as strong as Blue Vegeta, whose power couldn't even last the fucking. No, that's a retcon of hell. The Patara have definitely been retconned at least one time. Any fan that says that they weren't retconned at least one time is delusional. If you don't think they've been retconned every single time, that's fine. Probably even true. But not once, you're crazy.
Fusion. However, that statement is later proven not to be the case.
Yeah, not one time, you're crazy.
Majin Buu. The only reason I hesitate to call this a retcon is because Buu is, well, literally magic and always has been an unknown quantity practically by definition.
Yeah, sure, whatever, but then
immediately after that rule was first introduced. If we counted all the times Majin Buu managed to contradict previously held rules, this list would be twice as long and way less interesting.
Very true.
That's it. That's my list of Dragon Ball's retcons, or at least the ones that I could find in the classic material. However, as many of you are very well aware of at this point, I imagine, mention, the series did continue into the modern era with the advent of Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, Dragon Ball Super, and
Dragon Ball
so
Super.
on. So make sure to subscribe and tune in next Saturday when I outline all of the retcons in modern Dragon Ball 2. That one is gonna
Yeah, that one's gonna be hell. If you think this video was disingenuous, hating, or anything like that, boy oh boy, do not click the super one. But I guess I want to finally end this video with this.
Nobody hates Dragon Ball.
And a majority of these retcons, hot take, were good for the series. In fact, let me say it again. Majority of these retcons, hot take,
Were good for the series.
I know that the timestamps are going to be on the negative ones because that's what pops out, unfortunately. The creator will view the negative comments through all the sea of love and support, and the haters will shine like the well actuallys they are, and people are going to like the hate comments versus liking the love comments. I get that. But I want to be made very clear, and maybe perhaps some of the replies to said hate comment will shine, that gang, 90% of the retcons in this video were perfectly fine. Furthermore, hopefully you are perfectly fine with this video. Upload, channel success, yap, things of that nature. If you want to be a part of the TSO movement, please subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Totally Not Mark. Definitely one of the more successful Dragon Ball YouTubers. Help my boy get to 1 mil, by the way. My boy get to 1 mil. Take care, stay blessed. I'll see you all next time. Subscribe to the Twitch, follow the YouTube. I said that backwards. Bye.